Hello everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today I want to talk about something that's been on my mind for a while. Something I think a lot of us notice, but don't always take the time to reflect on. The topic is why people avoid deep conversation. You know, the kind of conversations I'm talking about, the ones the ones that go beyond who are you? I'm fine. The ones where we actually share our thoughts, your fears, our dreams, the stuff that really matters. Those conversations that can leave you feeling lighter, more connected, more understood, more understood. But for some reason, a lot of people avoid them. Instead, we stick to small talk, surface level topics, jokes, memes, gossip, or just silence. And I think it's worth asking why. Why do so many of us avoid it? Why does talking about real feelings, about pain, about meaning feel so heavy, so uncomfortable? That's what I want to explore with you today. The first and probably the most obvious reason is a fear of vulnerability. When you open up to someone, when you tell them something deep about yourself, you're exposing a part of your soul. You're showing something real, something raw. And that's scary because once once you put it out there, you can't take it back. What if they judge? What if what if they judge you? What if they lie? What if they don't understand? What if they use it against you one day? That feels real. And I think a lot of people grow up in environments where vulnerability wasn't safe. Maybe they were tasted when they cried. Maybe they were told to man up, or stop being dramatic. Maybe their feelings were ignored. So, as adults, they learn to hide behind masks. They talk about the weather or sports or trending topics, but not about what's going on inside. But the irony is, the things we avoid vulnerability is actually the thing that creates connection. When someone shares something real with you and you respond with empathy, that's when a true bond is formed. Is formed. Another reason people avoid deep conversation is simple awareness. Aw- aw- Awareness. We're not always trained in how to handle deep. Think about it. School teaches us math, science, history, but not real emotional communication. No one really sits us down and says, "Here's how, here's how to comfort a friend who's grieving. Here's how to hold space for someone going through depression. Here's how to talk about your insecurities without feeling ashamed." So, when a deep topic comes up, people freeze. People freeze. Freezy. They don't know what to say. They're afraid of saying the wrong thing. Or they just change the subject to something lighter. It's not always because they don't care. It's often because they feel uncomfortable and unskilled. The culture of distraction. Another big factor is the culture we live in. We live in a world of constant distraction. Social media, short videos, notification, fast entertainment, everything is designed to keep our attention on the surface. Deep conversation require patience, silence, reflection, time. But in a culture where everything is fast and attention spans are shrinking, Deep feels, deep feels almost unnatural. People scroll instead of listen. They send emojis instead of words. They double tap and post instead of calling a friend. It's not that humans don't walk deep. It's it's that we've been conditioned to settle for instant, shallow collections, shallow connections. Emotional pain. Here's another reason. Deep conversation often bring up pain. Talking about meaning, purpose, trauma, loneliness, love, regret. These are no easy topics. They remind people of wounds they haven't healed. And sometimes people just don't want to go there. For example, if someone is struggling with anxiety and you ask them how they are really doing, that question might feel overwhelming. They don't want to open up the box because they're afraid of what might come out. So they deflect, they joke, they change the subject, not because they're shallow, but because they are protecting themselves. A huge part of avoiding deep conversation comes down to trust. You might want to talk about real things, but you don't trust. But do you trust the person you're with? Do you believe they'll keep your secrets safe? Do you believe they understand, or do you fear they'll spread it, twist it, or just not care? Trust takes time to build, and in a world where relationships can feel disposable, disposable, people hesitate to go deep. It's easier to play it safe. Another interest reason is what I call the illusion of business. people often de- People often say, I, I don't have I don't have I don't have time for deep talks. But is that really true? We spend hours on Netflix, scrolling, gaming. It's not really about time, it's about priority. The truth is, deep conversation require effort. You have to sit down, be present, and really listen. And for many people, that's really too heavy, especially when life already feels overwhelming. So instead, they stick to surface level interactions because those are lighter, easier, less demanding. This one might surprise you. Deep conversations can change you. Think about it. When you have a real talk with someone, you might start questioning your own beliefs, your habits, your lifestyle. You might realize you need to make a change. And not everyone is ready for that. Some people would rather stay in comfort zone, even if it's shallow, rather than face the discomfort of growth. On the other hand, let's not forget the role of social conditioning. In many cultures, people are trained to avoid talking about feelings. Boys, boys are told not to cry. Girls are told not to be too much. Families are told not to air their problems. Workplaces are told to stay professional. So from a young age, many of us are taught that deep conversations are inappropriate, too heavy, or even weak, and those lessons stay with us as adults. Here's the things: small talk isn't always bad. It serves a purpose. It can be a warm up, a way to build comfort before going deeper. But sometimes people get stuck in in small talk because it feels safe. It's like staying in the shallow end of a pool. It's familiar. It's familiar, easy, less risky. But if you never swim into the deep end, you'll never know what you're capable of. Now, let's talk about the cost. What happens when we avoid deep conversation? We end up feeling disconnected, surrounded by people, but still lonely. We laugh, we share memes, but deep down we crave something more. We want someone. We want someone to really see us, really hear us, really understand us. And when that doesn't happen, life can start to feel empty, like everything's entertainment, but nothing's but nothing's meaningful. How to invite deep? So, what can we do? How can we bring more deep into our conversation without making it weird or forced? Ask better questions instead of just how was your day? Try what was the best part of your day, or what's been on your mind lately. Share fears. Sometimes people avoid it because they're waiting for someone else to go first. Be that person. Be that person. Share something small, something real, and you'll often invite the other person to do the same. The next one is be patient with silence. Sometimes deep takes time. Don't rush it. Let people think. Last, respect boundaries. Not everyone is ready to open up. That's okay. Deep conversations should feel safe, not pressure. At the end of the day, I don't think people avoid deep conversation because they don't want them. I think they avoid them because they're scared of being vulnerable, of facing pain, of being judged, of feeling awkward, of being misunderstood. But here's the truth: the risk is worth it, because deep is where connection live. Deep is where healing happens. Deep is where relationships stop being just people we know and start becoming people we love. So maybe the next time you attempt to keep things shallow, you take the risk, ask a real question, share something honest, sit with a silence. Who knows? That one conversation might change everything. So thank you for listening. I hope this episode encourage you to go a little deeper, not just with others but also with yourself. Until next time, stay curious, stay real, and keep growing. Goodbye.